where we envision ourselves to be. So I hope to impart a few techniques and little tips that you can use along the way that have helped me greatly in achieving my forward vision of myself as I continue to move forward in the world. So, yes, and when we have a great idea, and sometimes we go and share those ideas with friends, and we're like, I'm going to go to this spiritual conference, and they're like, why are you doing that? Do you know what I'm talking about? We get the kind of the naysayers, the people who want to say no to our wonderful, great ideas. And sometimes the naysayer is actually coming from within. It's us ourselves saying no to ourselves and our great ideas, coming up with excuses and reasons why it just won't work. And we literally shatter the great idea before it's even begun. So I have used a technique, and I share it with everyone I meet along the way, and my technique is yes and. So it's really quite simple. Everything that comes towards us, we can meet it with a yes and, because anything less than that is really defying the divine and saying no to the divine. So let's say I wake up in the morning and I'm on my way to a project, and I'm supposed to be there at 10 a.m. But along the way, I get in a traffic jam, I get a ticket, I spill coffee all over myself, and I have to go back and change my clothes, and things keep happening along the way, and I can ravel myself into frustration if I do not remember that it's a yes and. And this happened to me recently. And when I finally got on the freeway and started driving, there was a massive pileup, and about 16 cars piled up, a number of fatalities. And I thought to myself, now isn't that interesting? Because if I wasn't delayed, I would have been in that car crash myself, surely. So I could see very clearly in that moment that everything that happened to me that morning delayed me perfectly so that I didn't land up in that car crash. Have you ever seen any of those types of examples in your own life? Yes. And I'll go even further with it. Have you ever been in a relationship in your life that ended dramatically and maybe with some heartbreak, and for some days or weeks or months afterwards, you're like, why? Why did that end? Why did they leave me? Why? And then, a year later, 5 years later, you meet the love of your life, and you're in an extraordinary relationship, many times greater, more loving, and more fulfilling than the one that you were in before. And so with perspective and with the ability to look back, we can see that everything that's happening to us is actually happening for our greatest good. Even those things that are incredibly challenging along the way, they're all there for us. They're all gifts along the way. And I believe that our job in life, or the reason that we have come here, is to relax into the duality. I listened to the talk yesterday on duality, and I really enjoyed it. And I really believe that our job as duality is coming at us is to relax into it and stay in a meditative state. Like, meditation isn't just something we do for 10 minutes or an hour every morning or night. It's really the way that we can walk through the world in a peaceful, loving, and prosperous way. Because when we're meeting all of our challenges with gratitude and the excitement to learn from them, we just sort of flow forward. And we all know people that are very gracious and graceful when things come at them, and we admire them from our perspective. Wow, isn't that amazing how she handled that situation? Have you ever seen a friend or someone around you just handle some sort of serious tragedy just with super grace, and you're like, how did they do that? I would have flipped out, And it's those moments of grace that create our character and inform the morphogenetic field that we're in, because we are swimming in ether, and every emotional vibration that is emanating off of us is informing the field around us of what we would like to receive. So if we're coming at the world with frustration and anger and fear, then the field says, oh, okay, I guess she wants some anger and frustration and fear. Let's give her a little of that. Seems like that's what she wants. And then it'll come at us. And I'll just use the example of when I'm feeling amazing and great, it seems like everybody around me is feeling amazing and great. That will be tragic. And then something else. And it kind of builds throughout the day. Have you ever had one of those days where you're just like, what is going on? Like every single thing is going wrong. And then the second you lighten your load and decide to take the next thing with grace, all of a sudden it stops. Do you know what I'm talking about? So sometimes I believe that we are creating those things for ourselves, but sometimes they're tests or little challenges that are set up for us. Sometimes we are super happy, we're skipping along, everything's amazing, and then boom. And those things are, I believe, are little challenges that we've set up for ourselves in advance to elevate, for us to meet and greet those experiences with a different perspective this time, a new way of being. And if we don't meet those challenges with grace, then the next one will come, and it will be bigger, and then the next one. So we can't get out of this. We can't escape it. It's happening no matter what. We are in the world of duality. This is for sure the truth. And I loved what the doctors were speaking about yesterday when they were saying, you know, we want to reach for the light. We want to go to the light. Of course we do. We all want to be in the light. We want to reach for the light. We want to go for the light. However, we are going to be faced with challenges. And if we keep thinking that we're not, then we're going to be blindsided when they happen. So it's really best to just prepare ourselves emotionally and understand that they're for our greatest good, and greet these challenges with the high holy yes and. So just on the count of 3, let's all say yes and. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. So this is a photo of Chief Black Fox and Chief Sitting Bull, his great-grandfather. So how I really dove into this concept of yes and. I mean, I've been playing with it for a long time, but I met Chief Black Fox several years ago, and he was an incredible man. Everything he said to me was magical. But one of the things that he said that really stayed with me, he said, in my language, Lakota, we do not have a word for no, because the wind and the trees, the water and the sun, they don't understand the word no. So we don't have a word for no. We say yes to everything, and then we keep moving forward. We don't have a choice here on earth. There's no such thing as no. And those words stayed with me. They stayed with me because it's true. When I look at nature, when I look at Mother Nature, there is no no. She keeps moving forward no matter what. Have you ever seen a seed break through pavement or cement? Have you ever seen that? It's one of my favorite things. I love it. I have a collection of photos of seeds breaking through pavement, because Mother Nature doesn't know the word no, and she can't be stopped. And first has been epigenetics. Epigenetics is the idea that we can heal ourselves through our minds. My slides are out of order, so I'm going to have fun just jumping around all over the place. I have this thing, every time I talk, my slides fall out of order. So I'm just going to meet it with some grace, and I'm going to jump all over the place to try to follow my slides today. So hopefully that'll just make it a little more exciting. So in the world of epigenetics, we can heal ourselves not with poisonous pharmaceutical medicines, but with our own minds and how we think and feel about ourselves.